a start date, or we're looking as early as next week to start the tear-off portion.
Okay, can Mr. Cornett has a question. I will ask him to ask the question because our track students also have needs out there. So like maybe you can give us some input. I would appreciate it. Cornett, thank you.
The question I had was the electrical boxes that are existing. We were promised electrical that would be near our finish line, and it was never done. Will this time be done?
It can be. Yes, I was not aware of that. It would be an added cost, but it can be, and now would be the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we can follow up on. Like we can all talk about, assuming that we go forward with approval.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Thank you.
So, el señor Cornett está preguntando si pueden tener electricidad donde se terminan las carreras de track, porque se necesita, porque si no solamente tienen cables ahí en el track. So, gracias por esa pregunta, Cornett.
And so I don't think this was part of that question, but is this going to impact the track field practices?
Yes, it does. I think so. I'm not sure if Cornett can speak to that.
Yeah, and also I know our kids are outside practicing football right now, so pretty sure that's gonna also interfere. Mr. Gregorio, do you have any input about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say this. So we have foreseen this, and we are in contact with both Pajaro Valley High School and Aptos because it is going to impact any kind of future events that we have. Because this needs to get done. We have reached out to them, and they both have said, as in the past, we're all one big family at PVUSD, so they have welcomed us over there. So we might be traveling across town to the brand new PV field and to participate there.
Okay, so that means our kids will be having home games at PV High.
Possibly. Or Aptos, okay. Yeah, possibly. And for practices, we do have the auxiliary field, so we'll be here during the week. But if it was to do any kind of game situation, we both have Aptos and PV available for us for scheduling.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Vaya.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
I honestly have issues with the timing of this because I feel that in the pandemic, some kids may want to finish their last year, maybe have at least one football game after high school because they didn't really, a lot of them didn't get to do a bunch of stuff like their sophomore year and now their senior year. So I wish we could delay this because I know how it works and it starts getting delayed. And I could see just like in other high schools where they say it's going to take 3 months and it takes like a year. So I would like to push it. If we're going to approve this, I would like to push this till June. I don't see why we shouldn't wait.
I agree with her. I mean, if it's possible, I would like for my son to finish his senior year a while ago. We'll see. But yeah, I do agree with her too.
I can understand how you guys feel, but in all actuality, the faster we can get this done, the faster other kids can get on the field. And plus, this is a major thing. So if we said, okay, wait till June, then all the kids who are going to play football and possibly really play football wouldn't have the opportunity because that field's not going to be completed. Plus, it's going to be really hard to transport 80 kids over to Aptos High or PV High to play ball because you can't have that many kids in the car and we can't have that many kids in the vans. So that could be a real problem. And I understand what you're saying, but yikes.
I was just gonna the timing wise. So it started in June. Then now it's and Mr. Block can expand on it. Then it goes into the next school year for that season, those events. I'm just saying an idea.
No, I know. When I'm talking about timeline, I would like to know how long do you think it's going to take for this to be done? Like a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? That was what I was talking about timeline. I know it's going to take 2 weeks or something to tear everything up, but what is the timeline? What is the projection?
Yeah, sorry about that. So it'll take around 2 to 2.5 months, assuming we have good weather right now. Like certain days will definitely slow us down, but that's about the timeline. That's how fast we're able to do it at Aptos High as well.
And just for the sports portion of it, so to kind of give a perspective, right now we're in the purple tier. We're not allowed to do anything besides cross country and track in the purple tier in the league that we're in right now. In track, I believe Mr. Cornick can correct me. We're still not until March for that portion of it. And for football, basketball, and those things, it might get pushed back a little farther back past March because that has to be in the orange tier. So we have to go 2 full tiers before we even get to that possibility of football. So that being said, it does give the possibility to have a game on our field. It'd be later on in the school year, but just a kind of perspective of where CIF is and RCCS and the availability of being able to play those sports. So I hopefully that I didn't confuse you, but that's kind of where we're at right now, athletically.
Mm-hmm.
Señor Palomino, ¿tenía alguna pregunta o comentario?
No, está bien todo.
Okay. So yes, I would like to chime in as well in regards to the timing. Obviously, it's not the ideal timing to do this, especially for kids that have been, away from our school through distance learning. Nonetheless, as Mr. Gregorio mentioned, we do have very limited sports that have just recently we are able to say yes, we were able to move forward with these, which includes the cross country. We don't have many others. So I guess one of my concerns would be that if we do move forward, like right now that we don't have all of those sports, it's not the best timing, but it might be one of the times that we have to get this field renovated if that's what we approve. And that way we'll have it ready to go for the full on coming back of sports for the following school year. And hopefully we're even able to get some of those major games at our own field as we get closer to the end of the school year. So algo que mencioné es que el tiempo de hacer esto no es lo ideal, porque varios de nuestros estudiantes obviamente han estado fuera o lejos de la escuela debido al aprendizaje a distancia. So no es el mejor tiempo, pero sin embargo ahorita tenemos muy pocos deportes que se permiten debido a la pandemia, so tal vez eso nos dé un poquito más de ventaja en hacerlo ahorita. Y si lo hacemos, tal vez podemos tener algunos de esos juegos, los que son más grandes, en nuestra propia escuela, debes de tener que hacerlos en otra escuela. Y alguno de mi preocupación es que si nos esperamos, ya vamos a regresar y si regresamos con todos los deportes, no vamos a tener el campo listo para todos esos deportes.
Yeah, other than that, are there any questions? I know we went through a lot of questions as we went through this whole thing.
So yeah, I'd like
to comment. Sorry.
Okay, so Mr. Cornett was saying that he would like to have an electrical at the end of the race. Do we have to? Can we vote on it now that we agree with that, or do you have to come back to us to add that to your listing?
It'd be more along the lines of like, so we're not getting to a specific dollar amount. It'd be voting to approve to allow us to use bond funds. And this is something that we go to the site and the principal, the assistant principal, and then we'd make those decisions. And then we can present it to you guys if you'd like.
So now is all the rest of the money and all the rest of the money for this project, anything extra that's not coming out from suing that company, that's coming out of Measure L?
Yeah, so all of this would be coming out of Measure L. Everything that I present.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I wanted to add a comment. I had already included it a little bit in the chat. I just wanted to elaborate on that. Back in 2000, I think it was 2005, when our new field got put in. That class was also very much impacted by that construction. They were not able to participate in graduation at Geyser Field like they had done for 20 plus years before that. They missed out on playing on their home field as well, but it was the right thing to do at the time. You know, we had probably the best field in the county at the time when it was built, and I think we're due for a makeover. So it's never the right timing. Actually, the situation that we're in is probably the better timing for this. So I just want to put that out there. Quería decir que en el 2005 ese grupo de estudiantes que tuvo que estar en la escuela cuando se hizo la construcción del campo original, pues ellos tampoco no pudieron participar en algunas de las cosas que sus otros grupos pudieron hacer, como graduarse en su campo o participar en deportes en su campo porque estaban haciendo la construcción. Así que pues nunca es el mejor tiempo para hacerlo, pero si hay un buen tiempo sería ahorita que estamos limitados con los deportes de todos modos.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I have a question. You had said this was due to a lawsuit, so the timing on this, does that have any impact on starting quick? I think everybody's overlooking that because you said we could have the same field because of a lawsuit, and that's the money, but then we're adding more funds. So is it a time frame because you're using the same contractor? So there's something in the contract that you have to start at a certain time because of that lawsuit.
I don't know. That's a great question, actually. I can look into that. I think there would be additional costs if we pushed it off any further than the summer for whatever reason. If we did that, then there would be additional costs on top of the lawsuit. But I don't know if there is a time frame. We definitely want to get it now before they're gone and have to beg them to come back, kind of thing.
Are they local or are they from out of the area? The people that did it before?
I believe they're out of the area. They're kind of nationwide. They're pretty big. It's called Field Turf, and they do most all high schools and big fields.
Okay, and so when you went about to originally do this, just like when we do purchasing, do you go out and get bids and then whoever makes the decision on who to go with, whatever is the best bid or recommendations, is that how you go and pick the people that you pick?
Typically, yes, but this one was different because it was a settlement. So we got what's called CMAS pricing. It's all state voted on and it's locked in numbers. And we're able to get like the cost of 3 fields for like 1.5. So that was part of the negotiation.
Okay. So I just figured that probably might be the reason why you have to start now due to with settlement funds. I mean, there usually is a time frame when, they're going to say sorry. So that I don't think everybody else realizes that. That's what my only comment was.
So, Mr. Block, I'm sorry, I have one more question. What exactly is the amount that's going to come out of Measure A? Because the settlement has a certain amount, but what's the extra stuff that's coming out of Measure A?
Or Measure L?
Measure L. Woo, yeah.
It would be this dollar amount. You can still see the screen. 252.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I was just gonna say one possible thing, and when Mr. Nelson's commented, what if they could, and Mr. Block could probably can answer more of it. The senior class, depending on where we're at in the pandemic, could graduate on a brand new field, and that would be pretty cool, I think.
That would be right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something to think about. If we did that, that would be pretty cool. They would be the first class during the pandemic to be on the new field to walk across the stage. So something to think about. I don't know. I just when I saw the comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we start even as of next week, we're looking to be done by late May, early June. So it'd be around that time.
I'd like to make a comment just for the sports coaches. Just through the pandemic, the purple tier groups, I'm actually coaching both sports, cross country and track. of all the sports that we have, though, and the impact to Geyser Field, like football can practice outside of Geyser. Lacrosse could practice outside of Geyser. The only team that really can't is track. So that impact, I just want to make sure everybody knows, that impact on track and field would be pretty huge. Not that we don't mind going to PV High School if it's available, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. And if there was a chance to delay, weigh those options. I'm not sure what are the options of having graduation this year through this pandemic. I mean, that's probably pretty slim, I would think. But I just want to throw it out there that if you were delayed till May, say it could probably the project could get done before the next school year.
So, el señor Corneto está diciendo que uno de los deportes que es más impactado es el de correr. Y sí, porque no tienen acceso a correr en otro lado, especialmente para track. Necesitan correr encima de ese turf para poderse preparar. Y no solamente eso, con la pandemia, si vamos a ir a pedir a usar otras high schools como PV High o la PV High o Aptos, honestamente, ¿quién va a llevar a los niños a practicar cuando los padres están trabajando? Yo les digo por experiencia propia, porque mi hija corre y ella puede correr de mi casa, vivimos como a 15, 20 minutos de la Watson High, ella puede correr a la escuela, pero si va a tener que hacer en la Aptos High o en la PV High, voy a tener que salir del trabajo para llevarla, ¿verdad? Y tal vez yo tenga esa posibilidad, pero otros padres no la tienen. Y no podemos dejar que otros chicos se suban en el carro con otros chicos. Yo quisiera que posponiéramos esto y también por el motivo que necesitamos agregar, el señor Cornet dice que él había hecho la sugerencia desde la otra vez que pusieran electricidad al final donde se terminan las carreras de track y nunca lo hicieron. Entonces necesitaríamos también, para aprobar esto, necesitaría esto estar ahí porque es un poco más de dinero a lo que está enseñando el señor Block. Yo por eso, también el señor Gregorio estaba diciendo que los muchachos de fútbol pueden practicar como en el zacate, pero desafortunadamente el equipo de track no puede hacer eso. Entonces, por esa razón yo voy a votar que no para esto cuando venga acá, porque necesitamos el fee para los alumnos de la Watson High ahorita y podemos posponer esto para cuando no haya ningún alumno en la escuela de Watson High durante el verano. Pienso que podemos esperar, podemos aprobarlo, pero para posponerlo en junio o no aprobarlo. De hecho, no aprobarlo hasta que no haya ningún alumno. Creo que sería mejor para que ningún alumno esté impactado.
Patrice, you want to call from the voting members so we can move forward?
And Dr. Fernandez, I did want to, because I heard Mr. Ruiz about the students having impacted. When I was at PV High School, we did get buses, so we would always transport the kids. So if that did have an impact, we'd make sure that kids were transported to the other side to be able to practice. So that is an option.
Yes, but you were not in a pandemic, Gregorio. No estamos en la pandemia.
No, you're right. Yeah.
No podemos comparar el tiempo de antes cuando en el 2015 estaban haciendo el FIL y los alumnos no se pudieron graduar ahí. No podemos comparar eso porque ahorita estamos en una pandemia y los alumnos no han pisado la escuela más que para recoger materiales. Y si va a impactar a los poquitos alumnos que están jugando deportes en la Watson High, es algo que se necesita posponer para el verano. Yo pienso si no va a costar más, si va a costar lo mismo, es algo que se puede poner. So Barbara and everyone else, I'm saying that we should postpone it to the summer because it will impact the kids that are using the track field. I don't want my child being exposed to other kids unless it's a race meet. Okay? They're in a group of 10, maybe 12, 14 kids right now. I don't want my child to be exposed to other kids. So yo no quiero que mi hija esté expuesta a otros niños durante práctica, a menos que no sea una carrera. No creo que sea mucho pedir. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Okay, so do we want to move forward with the voting so that we can count that on our meeting notes?
Yeah, tenemos que, ahorita vamos a votar para eso, so solamente so Devin, the students that are here, I think it's Devin and Lucia can vote. I can vote, I'm sure we can do roll call.
I can do, yeah.
Señor Palomino.
I have the names here and I can do the roll call.
Okay.
Can we do a procedure? Can we have a procedure first? Do we approve the budget, and then second, when they should start?
Okay, yeah, because I think that's two different things. So we can maybe make a motion, two different motions, because we would have to amend the budget looks great, but amend it to add electricity to the end.
Mm-hmm.
If we could do that, Mr. Block, so that's one thing. I would like to have two different motions. I would like one for it to get approved, but then one for when it needs to get started. I don't know if we can do that. Because it can't be like one thing. It needs to be like two separate things.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I'm more than willing to support you when you go to the board meeting to speak on this. I mean, I think it's important to get it done. I just think the timing is not right now. So pienso que ahorita no es el tiempo de hacerlo, pero en el futuro tal vez sí. So vamos a hacer, does anybody want to make the motion, or do you want me to make the motion?
Call for the motion, Ms. Reese.
Okay, so I will call for the motion. So my motion is to approve the budget, to fix it with everything that Mr. Block suggested, and adding the electricity to the end, the electricity at the end of the track field. So estoy haciendo una moción para aprobar hacer esto con ahí agregando lo de electricidad al final del track. Eso es una moción. So that one, but then the other thing is voy a agregar también, pero que tiene que empezarse cuando se acabe la escuela. And if this is not okay, then you can bring it back next month. But so vamos a hacer una moción ahorita que vamos a aprobar esto y vamos a agregarlo de electricidad. Pero vamos a esperar para la construcción. But we're going to wait on the construction part. That's my motion.
And
Somebody needs to second.
but they sound conflated. Are we talking about the budget right now? Or are we talking about the timing? Or are we talking about both?
Okay, so thank you. So let me make a motion let's approve it first, if I'm new at this. Sorry for the confusion, I'm learning. So let's approve this, and then let's do another one for timing. Thanks for your patience. Okay, but let me make a motion just to approve the budget with adding the electricity at the end, which is gonna probably raise up the cost.
I second.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, Sue second.
Okay, and then we're gonna vote on it. So vamos a votar ahora los que estén de acuerdo de aprobar esto. So la doctora Fernández va a decir los nombres de las personas que pueden votar. Go ahead, Dr. Fernández.
Okay, Ms. Anderson?
I vote yes.
Ms. Webb? I believe she's absent today, not present. Mr. Nolasco?
Yes.
Sue Rodriguez?
Yes.
Devin Bullajon?
Yes.
Thank you. Lucia Umeki? What about Tatiana? I'm sorry, what's that?
Lucia's not here.
Okay, thank you. What about Tatiana?
Okay.
She's not here either.
Okay, thank you. And then Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Ms. Sabla?
Yes.
Mr. Palomino? ¿Está de acuerdo?
Sí.
And then Magaña, Veronica.
No, Veronica cannot vote because Veronica is she works at the school, and she cannot be, according to the bylaws that we have, she cannot vote.
I have a different understanding of that.
No, according to the bylaws, she cannot be a community member and work at the school, so she cannot vote. I know
If I can vote,
yeah,
I say yes.
so, but she's not allowed to, but we can go back and we can look at the bylaws. But she cannot actually vote.
But are
Okay, I'll look into that.
community members
Thank you.
and working for the school? Like, doesn't Mr. Nolasco have a child here, and does that make him a?
That was my understanding as well. Folks
No,
not
the
be
bylaws,
included.
we can discuss it, later, but in the bylaws, it says that, in the old bylaws, it has to be a community member that does not work at the school. That's what the old bylaws said. And when we send the voting home, those were the bylaws then. So if you want to look at the bylaws from
We'll
before.
provide more clarification on that at the following meeting. Vamos a dar más clarificación a la próxima reunión sobre eso.
So what was the count?
That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 yes. So that is
Motion passes.
mhm.
So, la segunda moción que quiero hacer es de posponer y hacer esto cuando se termine la escuela. So I'm gonna make a motion to postpone this until school ends. Okay, well, that's okay. If that's okay, we can just agree to disagree, and if it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass, but I still want to make sure that we bring it up. So, voy a hacer la moción para que se posponga, que no comience esto hasta que no se termine este año escolar de 2020-2021. So I'm going to make a motion to start this project until the end of the school year. So can I get a first and a second?
Okay, you need a second.
Yep.
You just need a second.
Yes. I say again.
Okay, all those in favor?
Ms. Ruiz made the motion and then it was seconded by Ms. Habla, is that correct?
Yes.
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 Okay.
I think for me, I need more discussion before I could make a decision about this. I would need to know the consequences of waiting and the pros and cons of both, because there are pros and cons both directions. So I would need more discussion before I could make an informed.
Should we bring it back then for next month? We can bring it up next month. Maybe we'll be better. Maybe we will not be in a purple tier and it's gonna be an orange, and maybe they can have games on there.
Yeah, the only problem is they wanted to start next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but to my understanding, you said the field will take between 9 weeks the most, right? From start to finish?
Yes.
2.5 months.
Okay, and when we asked you earlier, you said it should be down like around June, but if you count 9 weeks, let's see, if they start next week, if we count next week, it goes at the beginning of April, so why would it be like all the way until June if you're saying it's only like from 2 to 9
Should
weeks?
be 10 weeks.
I said 2.5. What did I say?
2.5 months or 10 weeks, the maximum.
Which will be in March.
February.
Oh, no, you're right. I totally skipped the month. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'd be late April at the longest.
Or even, mid-April.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that. I apologize. I misspoke.
So that does give us I don't know if that gives us a month of wiggle room, gives us a couple weeks. In other words, we could get it done. We could have a little time to think about it and still get it done before the end of the year, before graduation. But we would have to meet sooner than 1 month.
Mr. Cornett, when is your season over?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the schedule that you sent it out.
Because I think that could be a factor too in our decision.
Just give me 1 minute. Hold on.
And then while you're
Okay.
doing that, I have a question for Mr. Block. Do you have constraints like we talked about earlier on when the funds are available, like Sue brought up? Do you have constraints on when you need to start to have this budget be valid?
That one I don't know. As far as what we just approved, as far as getting the upgrades done, that I can send to the board kind of as soon as possible so we can get that ahead of this project or the same time as this project. As far as actual timeline constraints regarding the contractor, we prioritize the high schools to go first. We're also doing a field at EA Hall. So if priorities shift, we might end up doing EA Hall first and then Wattsville High. But that's how we decided to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have a quick question. I am a parent. My question is, sounds like there is some varying factors, and they decided to go with Watsonville first, and they can swap different jobs if needed. What is the biggest opposition from anybody who opposes waiting for the summer to start this? So it impacts the kids, the students less. You know, we've all been impacted right now during the pandemic, but again, to have to adjust and change the routine that they've set till now, what is the biggest opposition to starting in the summer? By anybody who opposes.
Yeah, good question.
I think it goes back to the thing, this is lawsuit money, and Ryan Block doesn't know the time constraint with that contractor.
Understood, but Ryan Block also doesn't know the facts about that, so that could be a
That's what I'm
factor.
saying, he needs to find that out and bring it to the board, bring it to us so we know.
For sure, we need all information before we make a decision. Yeah.
So it's impacting track, and I love track, but you know, this pandemic's helped, I mean, it's hurt everybody. So whether we do it now, do it later, it's gonna hurt somebody.
For sure, so again, anybody who opposes it, what is the reasons behind?
No, I understand that, and I think this, and I know Mr. Block is new at this. He said, I think instead of us voting for something because they want to bring it to the board next week, I think it would be really nice to have like two months of heads up, because then it's easy for anyone to make decisions. You know, I just think it's like to be told that you're going to be voting on this and that, you know, kids are going to have to go somewhere else. You know, it's just like not okay to just find out. And then like, I don't mind, like, this is awesome that we're going to get a new field and it's going to have all the bells and whistles. But I just think the timing doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it's heavily impacted. And I want to say something because my child is not just an athlete. You know, my child is also a scholar. So I want her to have the ability to be safe at her school and to be able to train there for track. Mentally right now, it would really, really help her if she just got to do that and she's not somewhere else. I think, you know, I don't know what else to tell you. Thank you for listening.
Also, the point that Ms. Ruiz brought up about transportation. Right now, we can't put kids in cars together. We can't put kids in vans together. So right now, transporting kids is pretty complicated. I don't even know how we would do it. How can we do social distancing and transport kids?
In a bus. It's going to be in a bus.
In a bus, can you do 6 seat, windows open, masks?
Yeah,
it is going to happen because I got an email from the athletics director asking for buses for track.
Yeah, it's I can kind of get a little explanation on that. So there is protocol because we do have safe schools. They are doing the busing right now. So the protocol is a bus, 15 students per bus, separated 6 feet apart. Vans is a limit of 2. So 3 total with a driver and then 2 people in the van. So there is buses and there is protocol for transporting kids. So, but it's in a safe manner, and they get the screening. They do the screening with the screener, and then the survey for the questions of whether or not they have any of the COVID symptoms. So there is protocol. So just for clarification.
If you didn't see the chat, the last track meet is April 24th. So we could start May 1st.
Yeah, I mean, and I was also looking, if this starts during the summer, you know, I mean, let's say it starts at the end of May, beginning of June. The field can be done before August, before school starts, because he said maximum will be 9 weeks. So if you count 9 weeks from June, will be the beginning of August, and it will be right at the beginning of school, middle of August.
Mr. Cornett, how do you get your kids to the other track meets in other, for other schools, or do you just stay at Watsonville?
We've been lucky that we're very good hosts. So a lot of times we stayed at Watsonville, but when we did have to travel, which was maybe once or twice a year only, it would take 2 buses.
Okay. Well, I can't vote or anything, but I would just like to make a proposal that since the track is over April 24th, you could start the fixing of the field April 1st, which would hold back and do EA Hall first and then do Watsonville second, if that would be possible. And this way, everybody would feel better about it. The field would still get fixed, and we wouldn't have to worry about graduation. But for the kids coming in next year, that would be perfect for them.
So, Ms. Reese, we're making we made a motion to approve with the addition of the electricity for those boxes. And we went through the voting, so we have so then the next piece would be for us to vote on the delay of the projects. We're okay with the project, it's just the delaying it of beginning date. So I say that we need to actually do a voting of that, and then that way we can determine the next steps.
Devin, you want to say something, Devin?
Yeah, so if you guys end up starting in May and we do end up having a graduation, it would be very sad because we didn't have a senior year, so not being able to have our graduation on our own field, it would be when we would be able to have it in person, I don't think a lot of the seniors would appreciate that in a sense. So if we do end up doing it later, I know the majority of the seniors would like to do it after our graduation.
This is why I was proposing that we start after graduation, after the end of the school year, after June 5th, June 4th, I can't remember.
Yes, yeah, June 4th.
That was my proposal, that we should delay it as much as we can and have them finish the school year and then start the project like in June the following week, June 6th, June 7th. That would be my dream if we would just do it in the summer. If you say it's only a 9-week job, then like Ms. Sabla said, then the job could be done in the summer. So la señora Sabla, el señor Block dijo que va a durar como 9 semanas. Estamos pensando que podemos retrasarnos y comenzar esto en el verano, cuando se acabe la escuela en junio, después de la graduación, tal vez 4 de junio, la siguiente semana, y vamos a estar votando en eso. So, yo hice la moción para que retrasáramos el proyecto hasta como junio, ya que se acabe la escuela. So that would be my motion. That was what it was before. I mean, did everybody have their questions answered?
I think for me, Ryan Block, you need to go back to the contractor and find out if I start, let's say the date you wanted to, what the cost is gonna be. And if they have the vote from us and to the board to wait till June, what that cost is gonna be. And you gotta weigh the difference between starting now and starting later. Because you want the bathroom too, so you're adding other stuff, which will take away the money if the cost truly increases.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to find out whether the timeline he has to start because it's part of a lawsuit. I think we all need that information, whether we want to start before or afterwards, and we don't have that information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'd
think
like to have
that's
that
very
information.
important.
Yes, and to piggyback off of what you're just saying, if we get into the summer, I had to check with the contractor on their availability, as far as that's when they're the busiest for any contractor. That's the busy season is in summer. So that would be a factor as well that I have to look into, as well as if there's added cost starting at that time.
Okay, so it sounds like we have a proposal that goes like this. The proposal that Edith said was that it would start the week after graduation, with the contingency that if in fact the contractor can't start that day and has to start sooner, we would have to negotiate the starting date, the next starting date, correct?
Correct. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I just heard the contractor part.
Yeah, if you could bring that information back. I know we're gonna meet late in March, but I'm willing to come back and maybe have a meeting earlier, just so that we make sure, because I would have really liked that information, this time. So I don't know if I should.
You could have an executive meeting, though, Edith, you could have an executive meeting where Mr. Block could find out in the next couple of days. And then by next Wednesday, perhaps, you have the answer to that question. And then because you're president, you can have an executive meeting with the other executives and the principal. And then you could say, okay, this is the starting date. And then you just email all the other site council people, and they give you a yes or a no. And then this way, at least we can execute whatever gets decided right away.
Yeah. I think I would like to do that. What do you think, Barbara? I mean, Miss Novela, Miss Tabla, Norma. I think I would like that, and that because we need to know more detailed information.
Yes.
Like what? Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah, we do. And like he said, they have two options: Watsonville and Eel right? So maybe they can start with Eel first, and then go to Watsonville after they're done with the other school.
Yeah.
But I can see Mr. Block's point on a lot of contractors set up an allotted time. And then what he was saying was that in the summer, they get really busy. So I think we need to wait for him to come back to us to find out if in fact we can have it delayed, or do we have to when do we have to start? So Mr. Block, would it be possible for you to come back in the next week and give us that information so that the executive committee can see what's going on?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier in the meeting, we have a follow-up meeting tomorrow, so I can ask them those very same questions.
Yeah, and maybe Doctora Fernandez, if you can, we can have an executive council meeting just after he has that information. Maybe on Tuesday, if we get it soon, on Tuesday, maybe around 6:30 or 7 p.m. If he has that information within the next 48 hours.
Because as soon as Mr. Claus lets me know what the outcome of that meeting is, then we can touch base to determine next steps. And our next city council meeting is going to be at the beginning of March, but before that, we can definitely be able to have that information.
Okay, so I want to make sure that he takes it to the board because I know that everything has to be approved. So, have we done what you need from us, Mr. Block?
Yes, I can definitely take the pricing that we have, and we'll add the electrical by the starting line. So I have that approval. I'll just need the meeting minutes from tonight's meeting. So I get that portion rolling. And then I will meet with the contractor tomorrow. I feel like this is kind of a higher up question, so I feel like I'm going to ask him, and he's going to have to ask somebody. So I'll get you guys an answer as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So I Yeah, because the reason why I approve this is with a contingency that we find the starting and ending. So that's why I voted yes. So so maybe I don't know. I don't even know. Do I withdraw my motion? This is gonna be a messy in writing. Or we just go ahead.
You don't have to withdraw your motion because you're gonna wait for Mr. Block to come back to you to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. And then after you see that as the executive committee, you're gonna send it to us the site council people, and then everyone can make a decision and get it right back. Do it that way.
All right, sounds good. Then we'll do that. Then we'll wait for that information, and then we can vote by. I don't know if we can vote by email or maybe we'll have a meeting in person. And then we can vote by. You can vote by that way. Okay.
And Dr. Fernandez, I don't know, Mr. Blight, was it this the meeting, or we're gonna do like additional stuff like the bleachers or the fencing or that kind of stuff? Do we need to vote on that too? Like if they would do it all at the one time to upgrade everything? I don't know. I'm just asking.
So that one.
For this one, my understand. Go ahead, Mr. Block.
I was just gonna say, as a follow-up, it'd be good for you guys to update your guys' site priority list with that in there, and then that I can take to the board at the same time, as far as when it comes to the bleachers and other surrounding areas.
So for the next meeting, can we please look at what's left on Measure L and prioritize the other areas that we think are important?
Yeah, I would like an update on Measure L and our punch list as well. Yeah, what do we have left and how much money? Thank you.
Okay, I'll share with you guys this PowerPoint that I just did. That was kind of the first couple slides we went over. We have close to $885,000 left, so we can share that with you guys. But I'll be happy to go into more detail about it.
Thank you, Mr. Block. You were very nice.
Thank you.
And patient.
Thank you for your patience because I'm learning. Thank you, gracias. Was there another item on there, Doctora Fernandez?
Yes, we have the school safety plan.
Yay!
Hey, I know we're a little over, so I will be very try to be thorough and quick. Can I Dr. Fernandez, can I share?
Yes, you should be able to share.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay. All right, because can everybody see? Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it, but can you make it larger?
Yes. How's that?
If you can make it larger, there we go.
That good?
Much better.
Okay. All right. So this is the school safety plan. We've updated and have incorporated the COVID protocols. This is a table of contents. I think the COVID is probably the biggest thing that we have with safety on campus. The protocols we've been talking with the district and have been one of the schools that has implemented the first procedures. So for staff, we screen every single person that comes on campus. They must come through the Mello Center. They screen, and then they go through the battery of questions and answering on in-person screening any questions about COVID. If they answer no and they screen a correct temperature or a acceptable temperature, they sign their name and then they proceed on to their whatever they're going on campus. There is also the school nurse, which is an app that if you take your temperature at home, you may do the screening at home, and that's another version for the district. That's for all staff, teachers, and administrators on campus, anybody that's working on campus. For students coming back or students coming, they do the same procedure on when they come to the school. They will go, if they're going to the library and we're on campus, they get screened, they answer the questions, and then they sign in. So we have a tracking of when they came in, and if we have to do any tracking backwards if somebody does get sick. Now for the cohorts, we do have for the sports cohorts, they do go through the gym. They do the same thing with the screener, and then they also get registered in the 5-star application where they screen as a pass, and we keep a detailed log of who came in, and if something were to happen, we can do those procedures. So I know I wanted to make sure that it's a little wordy right there, but I want to make sure everybody understands that this is what's going on right now with our safety, because this is again in a pandemic, and not it's in the safety plan, but a little bit off the traditional sense of what we would have in here. Any questions right now about that? No questions?
Joe, can you email this to us too, so we can actually read it?
The school plan, that's a good question. Dr. Fernandez, I don't know, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. I know.
That is available to the public. We usually have it in our office. I know with this year it's a little different because of the current situation that we can't like have a hard copy in front of you during our meeting. So, but it's definitely a public document.
Well, maybe you could just put it on your webpage, and then we could just click it and read it there. I'm kind of old, so little tiny writing is hard to read.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of, it's about 23 pages, but I'm gonna kind of go zip through them real quick. The purpose of the school safety plan, it's the mission, what the different things that we have from assessing the different the climate of the school, the different procedures that we have, disaster procedures, suspensions, expulsions. So these are all different points that we have. I don't want to read through the whole thing for you guys. So I'm gonna zip through it. If you have questions, please stop me at any time, and I will review with you. Okay. This right now, this is the school site council, the roles everybody has right now. We have some graphs. I'm going to zip through these. Like I said, later we can go over them later on. But pretty much these are just different statistics when it comes to incidences on campus, and that's from last year, from referrals, suspensions, in school and out of school suspensions, and expulsions. So this is all this more data and stuff that if you have some time to kill, this is good reading. And continue through here. These are strategies and the mission statement. Now, everything has been tied in. We do have a CATS code. This is directly aligned with our CATS code. So everything here is closely related or word for word almost with our CATS code. And that if you have any questions, you can look at this. And then within the part of CATS code that has to do with school safety, it aligns with this. Okay. We have curriculum snapshot. These are just, again, these are different parts, and this is the school culture. I think it's skip here. Okay, so school culture. I keep coming down. This is child abuse. These are procedures for child abuse. All the different things that again, this is all aligned with PVUSD and Ed Code and school and board policies. These are the different trainings that we do from fire, shelter in place, earthquake, and this is Alice. And I don't know if everybody's very the Alice acronym is alert, lockdown, inform, counter, evacuate, which is for anybody that would an outside intruder onto campus, and training for the teachers and how to protect our students in a situation like that. Again, COVID, you'll see it's to be determined. We're still going to do some of the training, but that's on the books for the future. Procedures for emergency. Again, these are all board policy and district policy. Suspensions and expulsions. Again, this all aligns with CATS code, aligns with district, board policy. So it's all there. Again, if you have some time, this is good reading. Procedures to notify teachers. Again, all this stuff, I'm going to kind of repeating myself, and I'm almost done here. This is the dress code, where we have aligned what we've been working quite a bit on that to get to the point of the dress code and to it's a longer conversation, but to make our students feel more involved in the policy making of it, and we did do that last year, and then we're bringing it towards the school safety plan. Again, I'm going to zip through it because I don't want to take too much time. I know it's been late, and again, if you have any questions, please stop me, or you can read it later. Rules and procedures for school discipline. Again, same stuff I've been talking about all through here, and then you can see different things: PBIS, Saturday schools, ROAR. And these are just things, suspensions, class suspensions, things that we have as tools in our school to just to keep it safe. Bully prevention and the positive school climate. And then these are different things that we have that makes things makes us special as a school with our academies, our ROAR program, physical well-being, athletics, all those different things. Again, part of the school culture, part of what we have here at Watsonville. And I don't want to dive too much into it because, again, there's a lot here. Uniform complaint procedures, protocols for mental health. This is a big one for us. We do have a wellness team, the WellCare, where we have a wellness team that we're always looking out for different situations that kids need help. And Mr. Maldonado, it runs right now, is in charge of the WellCare, in charge of the WellCare team. So this is a big one for us, especially now during the pandemic, and making sure our students are safe mentally and they're feeling good about what's going on during this time. And I think I'm coming towards the end here. And then this is just different spots during school, coming in on the campus and how they get through there. There's also a map that's attached to this. And then this is the appendix. I'm going to stop right here because this is just the different board policies that we have at Watsonville. I get a visitor. So I know I went very fast through that. I would love to, if you wanted to more explanation, please let me know. But the safety plan is there. It ultimately is a tool for us to make sure that that whatever situation we're keeping our students safe, and we have plans, to whatever situation happens. So again, I know I went fast, and for the sake of time, but if you do have questions, Dr. Fernandez, Dr. Fernandez can to help you get an answer. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay.
Great job.
Okay.
So again, the school safety plan is and requires an annual review and obviously a presentation to our school site council / Elac meeting. And it includes a variety of safety processes from outside visitors coming to our campus, school and climate. And most specifically for this year, the biggest highlight is definitely the procedures that we have in place in regards to COVID. So that has definitely been included there, and that's the only change I would say per se that can be highlighted. And it includes also the mandated reporting process for teachers. So all of those components that consist of our safety plan continue to be there. But again, I do want to highlight that the biggest difference is that of the COVID, the screening that we do for COVID, and the ingress and regress, entrance and exit processes that we have in place. So any questions in regards to that? So we would need to have an approval in regards to the safety plan as well tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve this safety plan.
I second.
Let's hear a second.
I did. I just did.
All right, and we will be posting it on our website as well so that it's easily accessible to everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Call the question.
And so if there's no questions, item number 8, persons wishing to address school site council, personas que desean dirigirse al concilio escolar.
That was a really good meeting.
I think all of us need to revisit the old bylaws before we vote on the new ones, because the old bylaws they're very lengthy and they're a little, they need a lot of update. But those are the bylaws that I was referring to, because they're very different than the bylaws that are being proposed, which is great proposal. But we were voted in using the old bylaws, so we still have to follow those until the new ones get approved. So let's just read those. If you can post them here in the chat, just so people don't have to go and search for them, I would really appreciate it, Dr. Fernandez. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to our counselors. It's the Counselors Week. Es la semana para los consejeros. Gracias a los consejeros de la Watson High por todo su trabajo. Thank you to the teachers. Thank you to the students for working so hard. Gracias a todos. ¿Hay algún alumno o algún padre que quiera dirigirse a la mesa del sitio del Concilio Escolar? ¿Algún alumno que quiera decirnos algo? ¿Algún padre que nos quiera comentar algo?
Yes, I can speak as a parent. Puedo hablar como padre en este momento. I want to just say thank you to the admin team for having campus security posted on the corner of Marchant and Beach. It's made a huge difference. I come to campus twice a week, and I know our students come to campus a couple of times a week for picking up materials and stuff, and they're not having to deal with the unfortunate situation that was happening down that top. So thank you for that. That's helped a lot.
Oh, before I forget, I wanted to say something else. I'm not sure we're gonna come back to school or not in March. Have we done a walkthrough to make sure every room has been dusted and cleaned and everything has been, all the floors have been mopped and everything? And like windows have been fixed and the ACs have been fixed?
Yeah, definitely. That's an ongoing project. I know our custodians have designated areas to ensure that everything's being cleaned, disinfected, dusted. And also when it comes to ensuring that we have the proper filtering, the HEPA filters and any air purifiers or whatever else the district is providing or the site in regards to that. All of those projects are definitely a top priority to make sure that when our students return, they'll have clean, safe classrooms, as well as the overall safe school site. And the same would apply for our employees, our teachers as well. We want to make sure that they also feel safe in terms of the cleanliness and the safety of our campus.
So every classroom has a filter system?
Yes, I can speak a little bit to that. Yes, they do. As part of the CARE Act funding, we went through every classroom and evaluated every one of our units. So either we upgraded to MERV 13, that's the standard for the COVID regulations, so MERV 13 filter, and we did upgrades to all where we could, so we replaced a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, but do they have like standalone systems in all the rooms?
Yes, for your guys' campus, I don't believe there's any shared units. I think every room has their own furnace or AC unit. And we're also providing HEPA air purifier filters. That is part of Rich Ariano, the purchasing department, but I believe we deployed all those already to each campus. So those will also be in classroom as well.
Yeah, we have them all.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we have them all here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Doctora Fernandez, for sharing the old bylaws and the new bylaws on the chat. So para las personas que están aquí, señor Palomino, en el chat están los estatus anteriores y los nuevos, por si quiere tocar el enlace, oprimir el enlace, y así pueden tener acceso a leerlos y para así estar preparados para la próxima junta. So we can read them and come prepared for the next meeting.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Gracias a usted. ¿Alguien más que desea dirigirse a la mesa directiva? Doctora Fernandez, before I forget, I really like what Catherine said, that strategy, what she's doing maybe at a next staff meeting, if you can share that, because if it's working for her, I'm sure it will work for other teachers that are trying to get more student engagement. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. ¿Alguien más quiere decir algo? Hola Karina, ¿tiene alguna pregunta a su mamá de usted? ¿O algún comentario, señora, la familia Jiménez Aguilar? Okay, so hearing nothing, I think we can conclude our meeting. If that's okay with everyone, do we? I don't think we have to make a motion. Do we have to make a motion? No, right? We just conclude the meeting.
No, we're good.
Okay, well, thanks everybody.
motion.
So if we can,
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for being here. We'll just wait to hear back from Mr. Block. Thank you. And then we'll hope to hear good information, and then we'll see you soon. See you next month. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.